Hello, everyone. I see we've already got some people in the chat, and it has been a while since I've uploaded or streamed anything, and today I wanted to try something a little different. So I don't know if anyone is still watching in the chat, because if anyone watching could confirm that I'm coming through, that'd be quite lovely. But this time, I want to do something that I have not done in a really long time, that I haven't really done a lot actively ever since really COVID times, honestly. Hey, Evan. Hey, Act. But I've got a little guest with me, so I'm going to unmute them now. You can introduce yourself.
Oh boy. Hello, I'm Bird, or also known as Sparrow. And I'm here to watch K.T.B play some games that I recommended to him.
So, those of you who have been watching my channel for years, like a long time, might remember that back in 2022, Sparrow was a guest on a number of videos that I did back when I was attempting a series of videos on, or one of my attempts at doing a series of videos about some Super Mario World Central contests. What did you say, Act? By the way, thanks for saying my name right in the update vid about the unfiltered image. Well, I think I posted that video like a year ago. I don't even... How did I say your name? Wouldn't I just say Act8113? Okay. Hey, Matthew Williams. Oh my gosh, I miss your comments. Okay. See, there's lore here, Sparrow, that you are not privy to.
Yeah, I feel like I've stepped in on season 5.
I can maybe fill... we'll get to the point. We'll get to the games, and then maybe if there's like a lull in the commentary within the games, then I can fill you in on some of the lore, the K.T.B lore, and maybe it'll help some people in chat who are also not familiar. But regardless...
Do I call you K.T.B right now, or do I call you by your first name?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you want to... Do you want to call me K.T.B? Do you want to call me Katie? Do you want to call me Kevin? I don't know. That is up to you, I guess. Whatever feels more natural.
I usually call you Kevin or Kev. That's more natural to me.
Whatever feels more
natural.
The lore.
We need the lore, egg roll salesman says.
There's some new faces. There's some people in chat that I don't even recognize.
Fantastic.
But yes, so you have recommended to me 2 different Flash games, except I guess they can't be Flash games because I can still run them and Flash is disabled. But you recommended to me 2 browser games that were created by someone named Nicky Case, which is a name I've heard around on the internet for a while, but I don't actually know if I've been familiar with any of their stuff. But you recommended to me 2 games in particular that I'm now going to play, and I decided to have your stuff. I decided to have you guest starring. I keep getting distracted by chat. It keeps messing up the things I'm saying. But yeah, I know. But yeah, there's Flashpoint, which is cool, but that's a whole other thing. So I'm hoping that the people watching now, looking at the screen, can see that I've got one of these games running right now.
I'm so excited.
And it is called We Become What We Behold. Now, I'm going into this knowing nothing about this game, basically. Other than, like, a general vibe that I remember you telling me when you first recommended this game to me.
What was the general vibe that I gave?
I was also, like, half asleep, but I seem to remember something about... Something about scenes of snobbery, rudeness, and mass murder. Viewer discretion is advised. I don't remember.
Don't be clever. Play the damn game.
Being clever is my job.
Oh my goodness.
Let's play the game. I don't even know if the audio's gonna work. Okay, well, there's audio. We become what we behold. We shape our tools, and then our tools shape us. It's probably a profound quote from Marshall McLuhan, Misattributed. I like that it mentioned Misattributed. Okay, so we got point and click. So I'm guessing I'm either taking pictures of these people or something more nefarious. Let's take a picture of the ground. Wowee! It's nothing. That's what you were thinking too, Evan? The title screen reminds me of the Stanley Parable with the repeating monitor image.
Stanley Parable.
Oddly enough, some of the things I saw on Wikipedia, like some of the names of their other games kind of did remind me, like give me a similar vibe to the kinds of indie games and freeware games that I would be interested in all the time back in the day. Okay, let's take a photo of Squarehead. Just a normal peep.
That's
Okay.
how old it is. It says peep just like you do still, unfortunately.
Do you know when this game came out?
That's a great question. Let me do some Mind Palace research. When did we become one?
Just a normal peep. And by the way,
2016.
2016, okay.
November 15th, 2016.
So that was well after I moved on from my phase where I was always into watching Let's Plays of indie games. But yeah, that's pretty old at this point. And by the way, to anyone in chat, if there's anything wrong with the audio levels, let me know and I will try to adjust that. So
It is also pretty much directly after Donald Trump was elected as president, right? 2016.
I feel like I want to ask you whether you think there's a connection, but I feel like what your answer to that might be a spoiler. So I'm going to take a picture. I'm assuming that the game wants me to take a picture of the guy in the monocle, so I'm going to take a picture of the screen because I want to see what happens. A TV on TV.
Wow, you're a great journalist.
Alright, I'm going to take a photo of the guy. Hashtag, ooh, nice hat. So I guess, all right, TVception. I was waiting for someone to make that comment. Ever since 2010, that's been one of the rules of the internet that if you've got something happening inside something else, someone makes the Inception joke. So I think the game now wants me to take a photo of the couple. I'm gonna actually take a photo of just one of them, just to cheat. Gross, get a room. All right. Oh god. So we got sound now. We got a guy screaming at me. You gotta catch him doing something interesting. So I guess I could take a picture of them while he's screaming. Crazed Square attacks. So is the symbolism of this game that I'm just stalking people basically? I'm paparazzi trying to take things out of context and be sensational. Sad guy.
I don't know.
Right, you're not gonna tell me anything because you want me to figure it out by myself.
Yeah, why would I ruin your enjoyment of this game?
I took a photo of him while he was surprised. How's that not interesting? So the title screen said this game's 5 minutes. I don't know what the objective is. I'm just gonna take photos of things that look interesting and play the role of the paparazzi.
There you go. Dog.
What?
This game isn't that hard to play.
Yeah, but that's the point. That. Alright, I just missed it. I'm experimenting, dude. I'm not just going to see the solution and then go straight for it. I want to, like, play around. I'm the kind of guy where when I'm playing a game, I figure out what I'm supposed to do and then do everything else possible first, just to see what the game has to store.
When the game gives you the same result, though, multiple times, one would think you would just start going with what it wants you to do.
Maybe there's an Easter egg. One of the things I respect in games is when the developer puts so much energy and time and attention into it that you can do silly things that you wouldn't expect to have a unique outcome, but still have that outcome be the case. Okay, wow, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Wow. It took me... Now I get what's going on. Okay, so yes, this is paparazzi, and I'm putting a spin on it to make them fight each other, so now I can rile them up and turn on each other more. That's what's happening.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I agree with Dean Gavitt. What fun is there in following the rules? So these people are saying, no, we love each other, and I'm trying to make everyone hate each other. Almost everyone hates everyone. So the game's getting easier and easier with the one. the game's just getting easier and easier because of the fact that now everyone's complaining about each other. So it's easier to find the drama. Oh no. I think we're in the end game now. Can I take a photo of that? Beast. Alright, this took a turn. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be doing anything now. It just seems like the game's playing itself. Alright, so now I'm just going to keep going until everyone kills each other. Oh. We went into Coronation Day mode. It's playing itself. Oh, the game's window got smaller, so now you can see the little support this game.
So that was We Become What We Behold.
Huh. Oh, I didn't even read the description of the game below. It says a game about news cycles, vicious cycles, infinite cycles. Vicious cycles.
Made
indeed.
in 2 months.
Oh. Oh. This is eerie. This is sad. Can I turn these two against each other? No. Dang it. So I
Share the pain.
So I could replay this mess if I so wanted to. Alright. So that was interesting. Here's my WOB site. So here's stuff from Nicky Case for those interested, since I have to plug the author, because I did think that was very cool. And then a bunch of fan translations. And... oh, and then it's open source, so those of you who are code inclined can check out the GitHub repository. See, I'm not even sure what to say about that. I feel like I should be giving some profound statement about my review or my analysis of the game, but I feel like that was very self-explanatory. Do you have any thoughts?
I've always me?
Yeah. Do you have any analysis?
I just, from a, I guess, would it be cinematography? From a cinema standpoint, I love the dead silence that happens when that guy with the monocle comes in with the gun. I love the moment right before, and everybody realizes, and everybody stops, and every sound disappears, and then boom, and then the guy is blurred out. He's so, you have to assume that he's so gore that they can't even show it. I love it.
Yes, I like the way it played out and the way the cutscenes, or the way the scenes were arranged. I really like. I always love it when video games have good cinematography. Feels like a weird word to use for it, but it fits. Like the way the game's cinema plays out is always a big part of what I like about some games, because then it's like telling a story, but deliberately putting it in an interactive medium to give it some more like power to it, you know?
Right.
And that's what I like about video games. That's the reason why I really like games like Silent Hill 2 or the DS game 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, which like have great stories, but those stories are only able to be told as well as they are because they are interactive to some degree. So I kind of like that this is sort of making a societal statement, obviously, but kind of flipping it on its head a bit by making you, the player, be the one doing the bad thing.
Right, and you even start out trying not to do the bad thing, and it doesn't reward you. It points you in the direction of trying to show the most scandalous things. Every time you tried to do something that was like cute or something that wasn't that interesting, they were like, hey, that's not going to sell. So if you want to be a good journalist, if you want to have people pay attention to you, you need to be taking pictures of something a little more exciting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if you took a photo of anything else, it would just be just a peep. Nothing exciting there. It's just a guy, just the ground.
Yeah. And, we see that obviously nowadays if anyone is posting videos of things that just aren't as interesting, then people don't stay as long, people don't engage with the material. But if it's rage bait, if it's something that makes you pissed off, you're more likely to stay.
Speaking. So someone said, Dean said, speaking of Silent Hill 2, are you excited for the remake? I did not know there was a Silent Hill 2 remake.
Hello?
It is one of my favorite games of all time, and I did not know that it was coming out with a remake. When is that coming out? I don't know.
Is it already out? Oh, it's pre-purchased. $70! Damn!
2024.
Gotta be the Q4 at least.
I didn't know that was happening. I don't know. I really like the original. Could a remake be good? Sure. But also, I will say, I kind of like I kind of think that with old horror games, I kind of think the crunchy graphics kind of adds to the charm a little bit and kind of adds to the oldness. But that aside, so between the two games you recommended to me, the one that I was the most excited for is The Evolution of Trust. Playing time 30 minutes. And I'm more interested in this one because you said I remember you specifically said you did not want to tell me anything about it because you wanted to see how I play it.
Yeah, and I will say it's less of a game than the first one. Obviously, the first one had, it was 5 minutes, short, sweet, succinct, and very easily a game. But this, I would say, has a little bit more walking through ideas, if that makes sense.
So more of like a visual novel type deal, or
I think that's all I'll give you.
I don't even know why I'm asking. I could just hit the play button and find out. You can still see my screen, right?
Yes, I can. And
okay.
Stream can too.
Lovely. Let's hit play and find out what this is about.
Yippee!
All right. Okay. During World War I, peace broke out. It was Christmas 1914 on the Western Front. I like the little people that I can move around. Despite strict orders not to chillax with the enemy, British and German soldiers left their trenches, crossed no man's land, and gathered to bury their dead, exchange gifts, and play games. Meanwhile, it's 2017, the West has been at peace for decades, and wow, we suck at trust. I hope this game pulls some Prisoner's Dilemma type thing. Surveys show that, over the past 40 years, fewer and fewer people say they trust each other. So here's our puzzle. Why, even in peacetime, do friends become enemies? And why, even in wartime, do enemies become friends? I think game theory can help explain our epidemic of distrust. Now, chat, don't make the obvious joke, please. And how we can fix it. So to understand all of this, let's play a game. I don't know, I always thought that story, before I hit the button, I do want to say, I've always thought that story about the World War I Christmas thing has always been really interesting to me. You'd think that, one of them would have been here's my chance to fight them, and then all hell would have broken loose, you know?
Yeah.
That story has always been really incredible to me. Alright, let's play a game. The game of trust. You have one choice. In front of you is a machine. If you put a coin in the machine, the other player gets 3 coins, and vice versa. You both can shoot. This is the Prisoner's Dilemma!
Yes, I was gonna say. You're like, I hope this is the prisoner. I was like, go!
Hey, Cecilia. I'm happy to see you too. You both can either choose to cooperate, put in coin, or cheat, don't put in coin. Let's say the other player cheats and doesn't put in a coin. What would you do? So obviously... Oh, so they're making me choose before they've explained all the rules, so I know how the Prisoner's Dilemma goes. So I kind of just want to say cooperate, just to kind of flip the script a little bit.
Sure, whatever you want to do.
See, I actually do think about the Prisoner's Dilemma a lot. Because
I'm so glad you're going to love this game.
So it's actually kind of a funny coincidence, because I mentioned earlier that one of my favorite games growing up was the DS game 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. And the sequel to that game, Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, is all about the prisoner's dilemma. So I often think of, and that's like a life or death situation. So I often like think about like what do you do? Because you don't want to be a jerk and betray the person you're with, especially not if they're going to want to do something nice. But there's also like the whole self-preservation element in there of I don't want to die. It looks like in this case though, maybe they're getting into it later, but so far they haven't explained the penalty. So just based on this information alone, I'd have to say cooperate, because if I want to build trust with the other people and get my partner and I to a point where we can trust each other and can reliably cooperate with each other, then I think I'm going to have to try and cooperate with them, even if it hurts me in the short term. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I need to get my partner and I on good terms. Alas, turning the other cheek just gets you slapped, which is fair. I can't really be mad at them for that, because they were acting out of self-preservation. So if you cooperate and they cheat, you lose a coin while they gain 3. Score -1 versus +3. However, if you both cheat, neither of you gain or lose anything. Score 0 versus 0. So therefore, you should cheat. Okay, that's a little different. That is actually a slightly different version of the prisoner's dilemma than what I've heard before, or than what was in the game I was talking about. Because the way I've always imagined the prisoner's dilemma is that if you both cooperate with each other, you both of you do benefit, just not as much as the cheater does if one person cheats and the other person cooperates.
Right. From what I recall from class, it was if one person... Actually, do you want to explain the prisoner's dilemma to those who may not know it? Also, hello, Robert.
I think the game is... Yeah, I probably should, because the game's kind of going through it, and I keep jumping ahead. But
so let's say Kevin and I are partners in crime.
Right.
And we do something unspeakable.
and we're each other's accomplices.
Yes.
And the idea is
what the other has done.
And the idea is we could potentially either tattle on each other, or like keep our lips shut. And the idea is if both of us...
Yeah. What are the police saying about Kevin?
What? The police is saying... The police is saying, hey, if you tattle on your partner, then you will be set free, or you'll get a much shorter sentence. And then they'll get a much longer sentence. Whereas if you both, like, rat on each other, then... you
both get the max sentence, because you're both telling.
Yes. But if you both help each other, then you both get a shorter sentence, I think.
Yeah, because they can't prove anything, but they can't disprove anything either. So rather than the 3 years, you'd only get 1 year.
Yes. So, like the game's kind of explaining it now, but but different versions of the prisoner's dilemma that I've heard kind of have different rules for what happens if you both help each other.
Yeah.
So the version they're walking us through right now, apparently neither of you gain anything if you both cheat. Okay. So that's where I was messed up before. I want to know what the game's going to say happens if we both cooperate. That's what I want to know happens.
Much lower stakes than going to jail, one might say.
So I'm going to say cooperate again, just because it doesn't say what happens if our points go down to 0. So I'm just going to say cooperate, see what happens. Maybe I die. Let's find out. Sure seems like the right thing to do, or is it? Because if you both cooperate, you both give up a coin to gain 3. But if you cheat and they cooperate, you gain 3 coins at their cost of 1. Therefore, you should still cheat. Yeah, this is kind of tying back into the game I was talking about, because there was a character in that game who basically explains this exact argument, that it is always the logical thing to do. For your own sake, it is always the logical thing to cheat, or to betray, because it is always going to come at the best potential cost to yourself, without any risk of you getting hurt. And that's our dilemma. Trust is nice, but it can let others take advantage of you, or shoot you as you come unarmed out of a trench. Sometimes distrust is rational, but now what happens if we play this game more than once? So now let's play this game for real. You'll be playing against 5 different opponents, each with their own game strategy. With each opponent, you'll play anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds. You won't know in advance when the last round is. Can you trust them? Or rather, can they trust you? Pick your first real move. Choose wisely. Alright, so they just threw out another rule that kind of flipped this on my head. Because I was saying earlier that part of my motive for cooperating is just the fact that I want to build up trust with the person I'm playing against. But if the opponent changes each time, that goes out the window. And also...
But with each opponent, you'll play anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds, so you will have a chance to, quote-unquote, build up trust if that's your goal, or to figure out their strategy.
Okay, so I wonder how sophisticated the AI in this game is.
Well, considering it's built in 2017, let's set our standards at a reasonable level.
No, I mean, honestly, this game could still impress me, because even in 2017, even in 2010, you could make an AI that would, like, know to learn from what you do and get better. That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm wondering what the code is. I'm just going to say cooperate. And they cooperated too.
Yippee.
Alright, so here's the idea. So that person was nice enough to me to cooperate. So you'd think, realistically, they would trust that I cooperate again. Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, so they would trust that I cooperate again, and they would cooperate too. Because they could, like... Yeah, they could betray me and say, ooh, I know this guy cooperates. I'm going to cheat against him. But by that logic, why would he have cooperated the first time? I might be putting a little too much weight on the intelligence of these characters, but I'm going to say I just have a good feeling. Realistically, I'd have a good feeling about cooperating again. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to keep cooperating with them, and that seems to be going well for me. Alright, sweet. Right. So, I guess for opponent number 1 was successful. So, I wonder if the color of the hats means anything. I'm just going to say cooperate again.
It's a different person.
Alright, so they cheated. So here's the dilemma. Here's where the prisoner's dilemma comes in. Mm-hmm. Does them cheating and knowing that I cooperated, does that mean that in their head they're going to think, ha, this guy's a sucker, I can take advantage of him? Or is he going to think, he cooperated, he's probably not a bad dude, maybe we can work together? And maybe then he'll start cooperating. That's the dilemma here. I don't know what his next move is going to be, because either of those two thoughts could be going on in his head. You know?
Yes. What would you do if you cooperated and the other person cheated? What would be your next move?
And it's hard to know unless I'm put in this situation, and it's also hard to know.
You're in this situation right now, Kevin.
And it's also it's hard to know without knowing the stakes. I'm gonna have faith in this guy.
The stakes are money. You want more coins. It's a game.
It's true. I do want money. I want money.
It's pretty low stakes. It's not going to prison. It's not having no freedom. It's just you have money, and it's like an arcade game.
I don't like this guy's evil smile. I think he's going to backstab me again. Cheat. Ha! So that was the right move after all. I'm not going broke. But now there's no...
-1, so...
But now there's no way he's going to trust me, so I'm just going to keep cheating. And now we're never going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, we got a little pink hat person. They got a little flower on their hat. They have to be nice. Cooperate. Woo! Woo! Alright, cheat. Ha! That was good timing. I backstabbed that person. Oh, is that what K.T.B stands for? Kevin the Bird? I saw the person in chat that said that.
Flip you the bird. Consider that.
I'm guessing, I would 100% betray you if we were playing this game together.
Alright, there's no need to be cruel.
I don't think you would cooperate with me.
That you can't know that for sure, first of all, and second of all, rude.
I like this guy's hat. Cooperate. Woo! 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 It seems like as soon as one cooperation happens, it's just guaranteed that's going to keep happening. So we're already on opponent 5. Oh, damn. Okay. Alright, I see how it is. Cheat. Ha! That's what you get. I'm winning. Alright. That was the 5 rounds. And your total score is 35, which is pretty good. The lowest and highest possible scores are 7 and 49, respectively. So, who are these strange characters you just played against? Oh, so now they're going to tell me how each of the characters are programmed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, the blue guy was Copycat. I start with Cooperate, and afterwards I just copy whatever you did in the last round. Meow. Alright. Then the second person's always Cheat. So I don't think you can win against that guy, I guess.
Unless you start with cheating, then you'll be at least equal. But you can never win against him.
Then this person always cooperates. So that's nice. The person with the little flowery hat who just kind of looks trustworthy. Of course, they're the person who is just always going to cooperate. Grudger. I'll start cooperating and keep cooperating, but if you cheat on me, I'll cheat you back till the end of tarnation. Was that the
fun fact? Go ahead.
I was trying to think. Is that the person that I cheated at one point, or was I always?
No, that you cheated.
No, I was always nice
always
to that guy because I liked his hat.
Yes.
What did you say?
You cheated at the very last second with always cooperate. But the fun fact is that when I played this game, my strategy was the Grudger, and I didn't realize until when I got to this section. I was like, oh, that's what I did. So if anyone cheated against me, I immediately started cheating, but I always started with cooperating.
I don't even know what my method was. I just kind of did random things.
Your method was, yeah, it was a little random.
I don't
think there's a category for you.
My method was, I'm just going to mess with all these people.
Yeah, so you should pretty much just feel bad, I guess.
Well, that wasn't the angle I was going to take.
That's what you fucking sound like.
That is not what I sound like. Chat, is that what I sound like? Do I sound like I'm a whiny little baby?
Yeah.
I know this is not what I sound
yes.
like. Detective. First I analyze you, I start. Cooperate, cheat, cooperate, cooperate. If you cheat back, I'll act like a copycat. If you never cheat back, I'll act like always cheat to exploit you. Elementary, my dear Watson. Evan, you're supposed to be on my side. Right, so now we're gonna have the characters play against each other. Don't egg him on.
Good chat.
Okay. Now I gotta bet on these guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's tournament time. Each character will now play against every other character. That's 10 paired matches and 10 rounds per match. Who do you think will get the highest total score? I think the cheater is gonna get the highest score. Right?
It definitely can't be all cooperate because they'll just get cheated a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
The cheater would definitely get full points against the pink guy. Mm-hmm. And it'd be hard to win against Copycat because that would... What's the Copycat's first move?
Cooperate. Starts with cooperate, it says. Can you read?
Oh, I missed that part. My eyes immediately landed on the second sentence.
Yeah, maybe you should try reading in full sentences, all the sentences. That might be helpful to you.
So anyway, cheater would definitely get the first points against the Copycat, but I don't think that wouldn't get you the max points though.
Yeah, it would get you 3 points from the get-go and then nothing else. But
Grudge starts to cooperate, keeps cooperating until you cheat it even once. Afterwards, it'll always cheat. This is interesting because, see, my instincts are telling me the cheater is going to win because my understanding of the world tells me that, as sad as it is, usually the people who get the farthest are the people who step all over everyone in front of them whenever the opportunity arises. Like, the Grudger would not get full points against the Cooperator. And
it would just get even points.
And neither would the Copycat. I'm going to say the cheater. I'm going to go with my instincts. Let's see. Alright, you placed your bet and always cheat. Let's go through the matches one by one and see how the tournament plays out. Copycat versus always cheat. Yeah, basically what I expected. Oh, by the way, you may be skeptical about that Christmas true story about the World War I trenches. Surely that was just a fluke. You know, as I was talking about it a few minutes ago, the thought popped in my head, like, is that real? But then, but then I was like, nah. I've heard that story told so many times it must be real. But now I feel stupid for thinking that, now that the game's calling me out on that line of thinking. Alright, how are we doing? Alright, Cheater's actually not doing so good.
Well, the cheater hasn't played many rounds.
Oh, they're showing me every combination. Okay, I see.
He's got semi-rounds.
Yes, the truce was dramatic, but it was neither unique nor unusual. Not every trench joined in the peace, but it was pretty widespread. Many front lines came up with the idea independently, and again, despite specific, strict orders not to. In fact, even before Christmas, several front lines already had established an unofficial secret peace. Okay, I did not know that. I did not know that detail. Mercury Jin's placing his bet on the Grudger. They called it the live and let live system. Basically, you don't shoot me, I don't shoot you. And this worked in a lot of places. You may still be skeptical. Most soldiers don't spontaneously form peace with the enemy. What's so special about trench warfare? Well, here's what's unique about the trenches. Unlike almost every other form of war, you have to face the same specific soldiers every day. Okay. It's a repeated game, and that makes all the difference. Oh, I see where we're going with this.
A step up from the prisoner's dilemma. What if every year you and I decided to do an unspeakable act of violence and then got caught by the police every year? And then the police said, if one of you tells, we'll make the sentence easier on you. But every time we said, we're not telling. And that happened like every year.
This really reminds me of something that I've been thinking about for a long time. So, one of my favorite shows is Silicon Valley. And there is a scene early on in the show where, and it's a comedy show, so most of the scenes you don't really take seriously. But there's a scene early on where a guy is about to, like, get attacked by someone. And he's like scared. He's scared he's going to get beat up. So one of his friends says, hey, what you should do is, when he comes to approach you, say your name over and over again. Like, say, I'm Jared, over and over again, because it forces your attacker to recognize you as human. And of course, that doesn't really work out with the way way that the scene plays out. But that honestly kind of stuck with me, because something I think about a lot in regards to that scene is like, well, hang on, if I was upset at someone, it would be a lot harder for me to be upset at them if I don't just see them as someone as just like an object of my anger, an object to target my anger at. Like, I sometimes think about that scene in relation to like scenes in like war movies or any scene where there's like a fleet of forces where the audience just sees them as the bad guys. I often like walk through the logic of, okay, but what about that random soldier who's like in the tiny corner of the screen who's just like getting killed off camera or whatever? Like, they've still got a name, they still have a family, they still probably have interests and hobbies.
Yeah, there's one movie, or TV show perhaps, where there's like an active shooting situation and one woman it's like, I wonder if it's Grey's Anatomy or something, because it's in a hospital, and the one woman who's about to get shot just starts listing things about herself. She's like, I'm a middle child, I have 2 siblings, I have a mom and a dad, and I went to school here, and I'm a kid, I haven't even lived yet, I have so much I want to do. And the person like puts down his gun because he's like, oh right, you're an actual human being, you're no longer just a person to me, you have real life value, and I now know about it, and now I can't just kill you.
That is actually a good segue into what I was about to say next, because that is like a good example. But something else I like to kind of play through in my head is doing something similar, but not being overtly, I guess, dramatic with it. Like a scenario that I like to play through in my mind is someone's about to attack me or someone's about to shoot me or whatever, and I say something like instead of saying I've got kids and family, instead I like to imagine myself just saying something like my favorite band is Pink Floyd, and I really like to play hockey. Like not even something really dramatic or serious, but just something more like kind of innocent and simple, because maybe there will be some common ground between me and the shooter or the attacker.
It humanizes you.
Because maybe right now I just see the attacker as some person wearing a suit and a mask, and I don't know who they are, and they're just nothing to me right now other than a villain. And maybe all they see me as is nothing but a target, their prey. But if I humanize myself to them, maybe encourage them to humanize themselves as well, in a sense, that's going to make it a lot harder for them to hurt me. Mm-hmm. So that is my thought process with all of that. And that's that's the direction I think they're going in, it sounds like. Anyway, the winner is the Copycat. The Copycat goes by many names: the Golden Rule, reciprocal altruism, tit for tat, or live and let live. That's why peace could emerge in the trenches of World War I. When you're forced to play the same game with the same specific people, not just the same generic enemy over and over again, Copycat doesn't just win the battle, it wins the war. But if things change a lot when you play multiple rounds of the same game, what if we play multiple tournaments?
I love this game. It's so fucking cool.
Okay, now I'm not sure where they're going with this. Now I'm not sure what direction this is going in. Now let's let our population of players evolve over time. It's a 3-step dance. 1, play a tournament. Let them all play against each other. 2, eliminate losers. Get rid of the 5 worst players. And 3, reproduce winners. So we're going to have a bunch of copycats going against each other? Basically?
Maybe, depending on what happens.
And repeat for as long as you'd like. You don't have to wait for people to literally die and reproduce for culture to evolve. All that's needed is that unsuccessful behaviors go away, and successful behaviors are imitated. So let's see this in action. Let's say we start with the following population of players. 15 always cooperates, 5 always cheats, and 5 copycats. We'll ignore Grudger and Detective for now. We're going to do the tournament, eliminate, reproduce dance a dozen or so times. Let's make another bet. Who do you think will win the first tournament? Place your bets again. Okay, this is weird.
What?
This is weird because they flipped it. They flipped it in like several ways. I don't know what to make of it.
What do you mean?
So it's not an even match. We've got way more of the always cooperate people than the cheaters and the copiers. Mm-hmm. And now that the whole multiple tournament thing has been added, I'm not sure how that's going to influence their behavior from one game to the next.
Their behavior always stays the same.
Yeah, their behavior stays the same, but what I'm saying is like, for example, is the copycat's first move at the beginning of the second game going to be influenced by the last round of their previous match with the same guy?
Every time they play against the person, they start off with cooperate.
Okay.
It's only within one round where they will change it.
Okay. This is tricky. I'm honestly not sure, because the fact that there are so many cooperators makes me want to think that there's something going on there. But based on the reasoning they explained last time, I don't see why the copier wouldn't still win. Yeah. I don't know, I guess I'll say the copier wins and find out why I'm wrong. Makes sense. Copycat won the tournament last time. Why not again? But this is making me think that he's not going to win again.
It's probably just because you're stupid. You wanna click the button, Kevin?
You don't have to be here if you don't want to be.
You don't have to be here if you don't. Why don't you click the button?
Let's play the tournament. Alright,
Alright.
Yeah, alright, let's eliminate the bottom 5. Let's reproduce the top 5. Oh. Well, that's not good. It doesn't look like I'm winning. Alas, Copycat did not win, but at least they didn't do as bad as Always Cooperate. They got eaten up by Always Cheat, whose numbers have now increased by 5. Let's try a few more rounds of this. Okay. Uh-oh. The cheaters are winning now. Eliminate bottom 5, reproduce top 5. Always Cheat is still growing at the expense of Always Cooperate. And now, all the Always Cooperate are dead. But wait... That's right, the Always Cheats became a victim of their own success. They exploited the naive Always Cooperators, but once they ran out of them, they had to face the Copycats, who are nice, but not naive. Okay, so, looks like I'm proven to be right after all. Woo! By simply copying another player's moves, Copycats can play nice with each other, while Always Cheats just cheat themselves. Not only that, but it also means Copycat can give Always Cheat a taste of their own medicine. And so, as a result, Copycat inherits the Earth. So in the long run, you were right, Copycat wins. Always Cheat may have won in the short run, but its exploitativeness was its downfall. This reminds me of a quote. "We are punished by our sins, not for them," from Elbert Hubbard. So, this means that if we apply this logic to the real world, then one day we're all going to become drones. Just copycat drones.
Did you hear how it was the golden rule and how that isn't just programming, Kevin?
Oh, and by the way,
God.
this result is similar even if we put Grudger and Detective back in. Sometimes a few Grudgers may stick around, because when all players except Grudger and Copycat are eliminated, the two tie. So it seems the math of game theory is telling us something. That Copycat's philosophy, do unto others as you would have do unto them, may not just be a moral truth, but also a mathematical truth. However, there's a problem. Ooh, we got to see all the Copycats take over. Woo! I thought it would just go on like that forever. There is a problem. Look around. The world's full of total jerkwads. If Copycat is a strategy in this repeated game of trust that's so powerful, that even soldiers in World War I trenches independently evolved a similar strategy, called let live and let live, why then are there so many untrustworthy people? What's causing our epidemic of untrust? I'm just going to put on the physics voice, because I always read better when I'm doing that
No,
anyway.
it sounds fantastic. I was hoping you would.
Alright. Here we go.
Lock in.
I'm locking in, cracking my knuckles. A clue is in that sentence itself, in this repeated game of trust. So far, we've only talked about change in the players. What about a change in the game? What could lead to the evolution of distrust? Before everything goes to heck... Get it? Get it? Because they're censoring the word hell? Because it's like a bad word? Let's start with something nice. Here's a world filled entirely with Always Cooperate, except for one Always Cheat and one Copycat. Use the buttons on the right to start the sim, go through it step by step, or reset it. Step. 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 As you already know, Copycat wins handily in the long run under our current rules. But that's under our current rules, which say that players play against each other for 10 rounds per match. Does Copycat still win at 7 rounds? 5 rounds? 3? 2? 1? Change the number of rounds with the slider below. Then start the sim and see what happens. Feel free to experiment. Alright, so we're playing 10 rounds per match, or... Alright, what do we want to do, chat? What do we want to do?
Chat hasn't said anything since the first round.
They're all quiet. That's too bad. Let's,
You fell asleep from your luxurious physics voice. Oh, Mercury says start with 5.
Mercury says start with 5. I'm pretty... So, starting with 1, obviously the copycats are going to go away, because they're always going to start with cooperating.
Right,
so let's see what happens with 5.
And Evan says 5 as well.
Alright, so that's the chat vote. Okay. Copycat's still coming up strong. Oh, but the cheaters are coming up now. Oh, the cheaters are winning. Oh, no.
No. Oh. Wow, it's a shame. And now they're all gonna get 0 forever.
Woo! So I'm gonna stop. Now we can experiment with a different one. Let's reset. And I feel like in 1 round they're just all gonna be gone right away. Or rather, it'll just very quickly fill up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Let's turn up to 20 rounds, because then our copycats gotta win again.
From 1 to 5, cheaters win. And then from 10, copycats win. So maybe 10 to 20, copycats win.
I want to see what the highest threshold is before the cheaters stop winning. Let's try 6.
What's that paradox? Or the dilemma?
The sand? The mountain of sand?
Yes. I've asked ChatGPT this as a question because I was curious. It is the Soritas paradox, also known as the paradox of the heap.
Paradox of the heap, right, that's it.
This paradox deals with vague predicates and the challenge of determining a precise point where a qualitative change occurs. The classic example involves a heap of sand. If you remove the grains of sand one by one, at what exact point does it stop being a heap? So at what exact point here?
Well, it looks like we've solved the dilemma. We've solved... I figured it out while you were reading that, while you were doing your lovely reading of that definition. It's at 6. At 6 or higher, the copycats always win.
That makes sense, even number.
Thank you for reading that definition, though. I always like hearing that. And I don't think... I can't imagine any number that would let the cooperators always win. Alright, locking in. As you saw, if you don't play enough rounds, 5 or less, always cheat dominates. In 1985, when Americans were asked how many close friends they had, the most common answer was 3. In 2004, the most common answer was 0. That's kind of sad. We now have fewer friends across class, racial, economic, and political lines because we have fewer friends, period. And as you just discovered for yourself, the fewer repeat interactions there are, the more distrust will spread. No, mass media doesn't count. It must be two-way interactions between specific individuals.
So you talking to chat doesn't count, but us talking does.
Yes, you are a real person. All the people talking in my chat right now, they're all just bots. They are not real.
That's not what I'm saying.
They're a figment of our imagination.
Kevin, you can't... No.
They're not real.
Kevin,
They're
please.
not actually there.
Stop it.
They don't count.
Stop it, Kevin.
So when Evan says mean things about me being silly and sounding like a whiny crybaby, take that, Evan.
What a silly long game that was.
And ooh, it gets worse. There's another way to breed distrust. Here are the payoffs for the trust game. Oh, someone said, could that be a step in Eggroll Salesman? I love your username, by the way. Eggroll Salesman. That's a great username. Could that be a step in explaining parasocial relationships, maybe?
It certainly does talk about why someone would feel so close to someone they've never met, because even though the celebrity hasn't interacted with you, you feel as though you've interacted with them, and you've bred a kind of synthetic trust. which is why when sometimes a celebrity does something bad, everyone's like, how could they? I knew them so well. You did not.
Exactly, and that's why we always have. That's why every other week we have like some drama where, oh no,
God.
my favorite YouTuber turned out to be bad. And then, because it's true, you don't know any of your favorite YouTubers. Except me. I know Markiplier. He would never do anything bad. If Markiplier does anything...
I was just going to say that.
Markiplier would never do anything bad. He's the exception. We all know him well enough to know he could never do any drama.
Did y'all hear about how Edge of Sleep, the TV show, is finally dropping on October 18th? On what platform? Who knows. But it's finally dropping.
What is Edge of Sleep?
You sick twist. Listen, he was part of Q Code, and they did a apocalyptic dystopian sci-fi podcast audio drama back in when I was a freshman in college, so like 5 years ago.
Ooh. And
it did so well, and they were originally planning for a season 2, but it did so well that they just wanted to take it to the big screen. So he starred in the TV show, but it had been in the works for like 5 years, and finally they're dropping it. But we've been waiting for ages, and now it's finally here. And he's very excited about it. And if we get it to the top 10 in whatever website or whatever platform it streams on, then that'll open doors, quote unquote, for Iron Lung, which is also pretty cool.
Iron Lung?
Dog, dude, Markiplier's making a movie.
I don't know that much about Markiplier lore, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You just said that you know he could do nothing wrong.
Yeah, because it was... Yeah, but there was comedy there. Moving on.
Are you lying? This is a step towards distrust between the two of us, okay?
I made a joke that made you laugh, and you responded by choosing to step all over it and then, like, insult me.
I'm 5 minutes away from your location. I'm approaching rapidly, so I want you to choose your next words very, very carefully.
Your mother.
God. Play the damn game.
With the normal payoffs, Copycat wins. But now, change the both cooperate reward from +2 to +1, then click Start. Even though +1 is still more than the punishment for both cheating. 0. What happens? Okay. Alright, let's find out.
You didn't do it yet.
What? Oh, what? That's actually an interactive thing. I didn't realize this was interactive. I thought this was like doing it automatic. Like, all right, here's what we're doing. All right. Okay, that's cool. Actually, I want to play around with this.
Maybe do it the way they want you to do it first, and then play around with it. Don't get ahead of you. I know a threat when I hear one, egg roll salesman. Who could possibly be threatening anyone? I don't threaten Kevin ever, and he never threatens me.
I'm 5 minutes away from you right now. I'm rapidly approaching your location.
I never threaten Kevin, and Kevin would never threaten me.
I'm going to punch you.
Okay, and?
So now we've changed the both cooperate reward.
If it were going to hurt.
Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, so now we've got... So we're still losing the cooperators, naturally.
It's so sad.
And it looks like the cheaters are winning.
Not enough incentive. Egg roll salesman says, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Carry on. My bad."
Feel free to play around with different payoffs.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. Let's, the reward for getting betrayed.
What do you...
Let's set the reward for both cooperate to +5.
Do you think... Are you trying to get always cooperates to win?
And the reward for both cheat is -5. I don't know what that's going to do. Let's see what happens.
A perfect world where everybody gets 1200.
Pink guy wins.
Rephrase that.
Pink guy is the winner?
God, why do we have to call them pink guy?
Because he's pink. Look at him. Or them. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, but now this is Felty
What?
Francor, and I don't know how I feel about that. Oh no.
Would it help if I said magenta guy?
definitely is magenta.
The same thing happens. With a lower win-win reward, always cheat takes over. Game theory has two powerful ideas. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke. Game theory has two powerful ideas about
just
this.
A theory.
Shut up. I'm going to mute you. Zero-sum game. This is the sadly common belief that a gain for us must come at a loss to them, and vice versa. This is also stuff that's talked about in Zero-Time Dilemma. Non-zero-sum game, this is when people make the hard effort to create a win-win solution, or at least avoid a lose-lose. Without the non-zero-sum game, trust cannot evolve. Speaking of which, let's now look at our third and final barrier to the evolution of trust. Oh, and by the way, before I continue, I actually really do want to pause for a sec and plug the Zero Escape trilogy, 999, Zero-Time Dilemma, Virtue's Last Reward. What I love about those games, about those trilogy, what I especially love, especially about the first game in the series, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, is it is mostly a visual novel where you get these long cutscenes with interactions and there's like mysteries and stuff. And my favorite part of the whole game, my favorite element of the game's like dialogue and script writing, is that the characters will have like a casual conversation about something, and then out of nowhere, one of them will just casually say, will just bring up, out of nowhere, some elaborate, obscure theory of physics or mathematics or literature or history or conspiracy theories, just out of nowhere. And then suddenly the game will completely lose sight of whatever was just happening and focus on this really fascinating, in-depth trivia conversation. And then the conversation ends and they move on from it, and then it somehow ends up becoming irrelevant to the plot later on.
It's the perfect game for you.
Well, like they'll finish playing, like they'll get out of the room, they'll escape from the room, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's a good thing we were able to escape from that chamber. I really thought we were done for. I mean, now I'm so glad we're safe." Have you ever heard of the Monty Hall problem? And that's what they talk about for the next 5 minutes. Or, there's a piano here. That's really nice. I wonder how it sounds. Have you heard about the conspiracy theory that the Titanic was sunk deliberately?
That girl Selson says, I'm oddly intrigued.
It is a very intriguing game. Alright, speaking of which, let's now look at our third and final barrier to the evolution of trust. Oop, we name dropped the game. Woo.
Gulp.
Mistakes. As cool as Copycat is, it is a huge, fatal weakness I haven't mentioned yet. To understand the problem, let's say two copycats are playing against each other. Being nice players, both their first moves will be cooperate. And normally, they just pay back each other's kindness and sing Kumbaya until the end of time. But what if, while trying to reciprocate goodness... Oh no! Mistakes, miscommunication, misinterpretations. Accidents happen all the time in real life. But if the other person doesn't think it was an accident... Oh no times 2. The other player, being a copycat, had to retaliate. And you, being a copycat as well, will also have to retaliate. Thus, like the Hatfields and McCoys, these two copycats will spiral into an endless cycle of vengeance. That started over a single mistake long ago. I don't... What are they referencing with Hatfields and McCoys, do you know?
Give me a second. Hatfields and... an American television mini-series. So, it's a Hatfield-McCoy feud. The Hatfield-McCoy feud involved two American families of the West Virginia-Kentucky area along... We don't need to know all of that. My goodness. The feud has entered the American folklore lexicon as a metonym for any bitterly feuding rival parties. They were fought for the Confederacy, murdered by a group. Hatfield's more affluent and had more political connections. So it looks like some Civil War shit that happened. Civil War stuff. My apologies, K.T.B.
Alright.
I understand. On muster rolls beginning on May 6, 1864, one guy reported in a Lexington hospital suffering from a leg fracture. Beginning in December, the 45th Kentucky Infantry began mustering its companies out of service. That guy's company was mustered out on December. He was killed near his home 13 days after. Confederate guerrillas took credit for the killing, and his wife's pension application states that he was killed by rebels. There are no existing records pertaining to his death, and no warrants were issued in connection with the murder. So, just seems like an ongoing feud that never ends.
I see. I'm gonna hit the next button because I don't want to hear this sound effect over and over again.
Yes.
Let's meet some new faces, or new hats anyway. Copy Kitten. Ooh, I like that because one of my old online friends from years and years ago, she made a little video game called Copy Kitty.
Oh.
Hello, I'm like Copycat, except I cheat back only after you cheat me twice in a row. After all, the first one could be a mistake. Purr.
You can do better than that.
How do you make a purring sound? Like, I don't have that ability. Purr.
Yeah,
like that?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Alright.
You figured
Simpleton.
it out. It wasn't that hard.
Hi, I try, start, cooperate. If you cooperate back, I do same thing as last move, even if mistake. If you cheat back, I do opposite thing as last move, even if it mistake. What? Okay. Random. Monkey robot. Ninja pizza tacos. Lol, I'm so random. Just plays cheat or cooperate randomly with a 50-50 chance. Did you say that's
Eli
me?
Guy says Athos. Yes, you were pretty random with it. Am I wrong? And also you would say LOL, I'm so random, but you'd say LOL, I'm so random, so...
I would not say LOL, I'm so random. And there was logic to what I was doing. It was just kind of going back.
You're a band kid.
I'm not a band kid. Well, I was in band for a few years, but that wasn't my choice.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Where did this come from?
In a game of trust, we're meant to build trust by being honest with each other, so don't lie to me, okay?
Making the stacks. Let's start with a dozen always cooperates versus our old winner, the fair copycat. And our three new characters, the forgiving copy kitten, the dull simpleton, and the silly random. In each round of a match, players have a small chance of making a mistake. Let's say 5%. Who do you think will come out on top? I kind of feel like the random guy will win, but I want to root for the copy kitty. Yeah, I don't think all cooperate's gonna win. Well, maybe all cooperate could win. Maybe. Well, no, because they wouldn't cheat. They literally can't win because if there's no cheating going on, then they're not getting more points than their opponent.
Well, they could cheat if they make a mistake.
But I don't think that's what we're... Oh, well... I still don't think they're going to win. I'm assuming that's still going to be a low... Yeah, it's a low chance, so I don't think that's going to make them win.
Okay.
I think Copycat still has a chance. I think Simpleton... Wait. If the Simpleton starts to cooperate, then if you cooperate in the last round, it repeats its last move. But if you cheated in the last round, it repeats its last move. But if you cheated in the last round, it switches its last move. Okay. I kind of want to say the copy kitty will win. But I also feel like random has a good shot. I'm going to say copy kitty. You bet the copy kitty wins. Let's find out. Use the controls. Okay. Let's see. Oh, well, this is not boding well for me. Oh, this is boding... Oh, I'll see.
The randoms are getting out... Whoa, shit.
So the Simpleton seems like they're doing a good job.
What the hell?
The Simpleton's doing a very good job. What? Your bet was close, but no cigar. Simpleton wins. This is because Simpleton is actually capable of exploiting always cooperate. They both start cooperating, but if Simpleton makes a mistake and cheats, since always cooperate never retaliates, it'll keep cheating them. I think I'm...
Starts with cooperate, but if it makes a mistake and cheats, and it gets cooperate back, it just does the last move, even if it was a mistake.
Okay. Interesting. makes a mistake and cheats. So the simpleton has a
Eli
chance
Guy
of
says,
messing it up.
Irida? Irida?
I'm
Irida?
going to be honest with you, I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Woo!
Yippee, 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 yippee.
Now let's try the same thing as before, except instead of the half always cooperate, it's
Woof.
half always cheat. It's a much less forgiving, more hostile environment. Woof. Who do you think will win now? Think, then place your bets. I want to say the cheater will win, because everyone else here has a good chance of not cheating and cooperating. Because the copy kitten is fairly forgiving.
Right, it'll get cheated twice before it changes its tune.
Random did not bode well last time. Not nearly as well as I thought it would do. And copycat. Yeah, I don't think
also
there's...
get cheated the first time.
Yeah. Like, copycat still has a chance at, like, surviving for a while. I think I'm still a little bit lost as to what the simpleton actually does, because it starts with cooperate.
Do you want to walk it through as though I'm a simpleton?
Well, you are.
Careful.
Then, if you cooperated in the last round, it'll repeat its last move. So it does the last thing it did. That's weird. The simpleton rules are weird to me. So it only repeats what it last did if you cooperate. That is a weird.
Right.
That is a weird set of circumstances.
Well, think of it this way. If you cooperate, then whatever I do works for me. I either get 2 coins back or I even get 3. So I go, well, that sounds good to me. I'm just going to keep doing whatever the fuck I did, even if it was cheat, even if that was an accident. So if you cheat, then I'll say, whoa, whatever I just did there didn't work for me, so I'm just going to switch it.
Okay. I guess that makes more sense when you put it that way, as in, like, it is responding to its feedback loop. But the fact that the simpleton was able to win in the last round, that means that, like, it must have a pretty good shot at making a mistake to get that to happen in the first place.
Once it has its mistake, and because there were so many always cooperates, it was able to stay in until it got more people, and then once it had more people, there was a higher likelihood of it making a mistake, and then once it makes that mistake, it'll keep making that mistake because it works so well for it.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I'm going to say the cheater is going to win, because even if the simpletons make a mistake, I don't think they're going to multiply fast enough to counter that.
Yeah.
So that makes the most sense to me.
They go back and forth between cheat and cooperate. Anyways. Yeah, there they go.
Oh, wow. I was completely wrong. What?
Huh.
You bet on always cheat. Again, going through the simulation.
Oh.
Good guess, but the copy kitty wins. That's surprising that with an even meaner starting population, Copy Kitten, a more forgiving version of Copycat, was the most successful. What? Copy Kitten is so forgiving it doesn't even entirely wipe out Copycat. It shares room. That's sweet. That's sweet. In this case, a bit of a miscommunication, 5% chance of mistake each round, could lead to more forgiveness. But is this true for all levels of miscommunication? Use the slider below to change the amount of miscommunication, then hit start. At 5%, the copy kitten wins. What happens at 0%? Or 20%? Or 50%? It only goes up to 50%, because at that point, every move is a coin flip. During each round, there's a 5% chance a player makes a mistake. So that's the starting number. I guess let's see what happens if no one ever messes up.
Mercury says, for a simpleton, it is the hardest to understand.
I agree with that. Yeah, so it doesn't look like the copycat ever gets fully eliminated.
Right, that's what we saw.
Yeah, but even for a lower percentage. So let's say there's a 20% chance of them messing up.
Oh my god.
So this time the cheaters take over immediately. Like, that was no contest. So I imagine the pattern's going to continue?
Oh,
now
sure.
Now it's a little more contentious.
Coin flip, so it's just... Oh, it's taking them longer to, but eventually.
Yeah. they still eventually win. The cheaters still inevitably win, but it's much less likely. So I want to know where the point is where that happens, because who wins at 10%? Oh, I need to reset it. So yeah, so the cheaters win fast at that point. All right, never mind. Now they're losing.
Oh, what?
So so we're not getting the same result every time now.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Interesting. I like watching this little web of lines, by the way, in the background. It's fun. The results turn out something like this. At 0%, the fair copycat wins. At 1% and 9%, the forgiving copy kitten wins. At 10% to 49%, the unfair, forgiving, always cheat wins. At 50%, nobody wins ever. I don't think that's true. I think
That's not what we had, yeah.
Yeah, the cheaters won when I set it at 50%. Maybe we just got lucky, because I guess if it's a coin flip.
Oh yeah, that's true. At one point, somebody's gonna win.
This is why miscommunication is such an interesting barrier to trust. A little bit of it leads to forgiveness, but too much and it leads to widespread distrust. I think our modern media technology, as much as it's helped us increase communication, has increased our miscommunication much more. At last, let's experiment with all the numbers, the knobs, and sliders. Let's play in sandbox mode. I like the sound of this. Start off with this distribution of players. Totally optional, feel free to skip it or play around. Okay, so what do we want to do? We can change the payoffs, we can change the rules, we can change the population. I want more random people. I want to see what happens if there's more randomness. I want to see
what happens if there's more like you.
I just want to see what happens if... Oh, but it's kind of deciding who it gets eliminated to make a room for them.
Yeah.
I just want to see, like, if they even have a shot, you know? Because it seems like they're getting out pretty quick. If I give them an advantage... Wow, no, they're out fast.
The Grudger wins that, that's funny. Well, one would assume.
I see.
So it wins against copycats.
Okay, we haven't played around much with the Grudger or the Detective. Because they've kind of been not really a part of this. So let's add some more Grudgers. Let's see what happens. Let's see if you win. Let's see if Sparrow wins. The Grudger's not doing too well. Unless you want to change another variable in this.
Right, if we wanted to start changing some other rules.
We can change payoffs. We can change rules. I want to see what happens if we increase the mistakes, but leave the distribution of Grudgers.
You want to reset it first? Or did you already?
I already did.
Okay.
So the Grudgers win more if I increase the chance of making a mistake. Yeah, and I guess that makes sense, because if those are more likely to make a mistake, then the Grudgers are just responding to it, you know?
And they're also making their own mistakes.
Yeah. So let's add more detectives too. I want to play around with that.
Wow.
Maybe I'm making it a little too unbalanced. But let's say we got 6 detectives.
What did you do for the mistake making?
I went back to 10%, which I think actually is a little higher than what it was originally.
Yeah, 5% is the original, or once you start adding it in.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm always rooting for the copy kitten, to be honest with you.
It's the kindest one, I think. Besides, always cooperates. It's nice but not naive, but also forgiving.
I'm glad that... so it seems like for many combinations here, it always comes down to the copycats and the kittens. The cats and kittens. The cats are the real warriors here. Let's have some more cheaters.
Warrior cats? Warrior cats? Are we talking about warrior cats? Are we talking about warrior cats right now?
I've never heard of that in my life. Warrior cats, what is that?
I can't believe I finally got to say chat is this real in real life and actually have it mean something.
Alright, I'm kind of curious to see what they say next. Want to move on to the next bit?
Sure.
Alright, let's recap what we learned today. Or sorry, what we learnt today. Game theory, don't make the joke, has shown us 3 things that we need for the evolution of trust. Roll credits. 1. Repeat interactions. Trust keeps a relationship going, but you need the knowledge of possible future repeat interactions before trust can evolve. 2. Possible win-wins. You must be playing a non-zero-sum game, a game where it's at least possible that both players can be better off. A win-win. 3. Low miscommunication. If the level of miscommunication is too high, trust breaks down. But when there's a little bit of miscommunication, it pays to be more forgiving. Of course, real-world trust is affected by much more than this. There's reputation, shared values, contracts, cultural markers, blah blah blah. And let's not forget the biggest lesson. If there's one big takeaway from all of game theory, it's this. What the game is defines what the players do. And that's just a theory. Our problem today...
Why can you make the joke?
Because it was uncalled for. Because you weren't expecting me to make the jokes to keep making fun of it. Get it? Get it, guys? It's subversion. Isn't that funny? Don't you guys think of...
Who'd replace all your shoelaces with cooked noodles?
See, now that's a threat. That's a threat. Egg roll salesman, I need you to come to my defense.
Egg roll salesman, you know you love me. Don't come to his defense.
But you love me more, right?
No. Who could possibly love me? Wait, hold on.
Wait, yeah, I agree with that. Hang on. I think you're going somewhere.
Alright. Hey. Read your damn lines and stick to the script.
Eggroll is the moderator. I'm delegating. I'm hiring Eggroll as the moderator.
They said, oh god, why me?
You know the right answer, Eggroll.
We're waiting.
Our problem today isn't just that people are losing trust. It's that our environment acts against the evolution of trust. That may seem cynical or naive, that we're merely products of our environment, but as game theory reminds us, we are each other's environment. In the short run, the game defines the players, but in the long run, it's us players who define the game. So, do what you can do to create the conditions necessary to evolve trust. Build relationships, find win-wins, communicate clearly. Maybe then we can stop firing at each other, get out of our own trenches, cross no man's land to come together right now. Okay, moving on. And we all learn
Kevin, that was really
to live and let live. Huh. Heart. That is the end of the game, created by Nicky Case. You can play their other stuff, follow their Twitter, download the music and source code. Oh, it's based off a book.
Act 8113 says, this is getting a bit existential for me. And Eggroll Salesman says, you know what, given the game's example, truce. Kevin, shall we call a truce?
For now.
For now.
I'm calling it off, though, as soon as the stream ends.
Oh. So then the moment the stream ends, I'm gonna die? I'm gonna get punched?
I am rapidly moving towards your location as we speak.
Kevin, you flatter me.
Lots of love and thanks to my Patreon supporters. See my drawings of them. Throw coins at me. Alright. I think that is quite intriguing. Alright, so that was interesting. So you played through both of those games all the way?
Yes, and I love both of them so much.
Interesting. I thought that was really cool. I like the message of it. I like the interesting little... It felt kind of like a miniature version of like a Vsauce or Veritasium style video.
Yeah.
where like it has a topic but kind of goes into interesting little tangents and fun facts along the way that you wouldn't kind of expect to, and I think that's fun. It also gave me an opportunity to talk about 999, which
Yes, and that's
God,
always meaning it's a good situation.
God, I love that game so much. I want to stream that game. I want that game.
Ooh.
I want to. I have not played that game in like 9 years, which is fitting because the nines. But I want to play that game again, and I want to do it on a stream because that game is. Mwah, that game is marvelous. Anyone in chat who is not familiar with that game, play it. It is great. I prefer the DS version over like the remake they made with the voice acting, but that is neither here nor there. I think that was quite a nice game, and I thank you for recommending to me. I will put links to the games in the description of this little live chat.
You're welcome, Kevin. I do take Cash.org hard. Nicky Case also does have a third game called Adventures with Anxiety, which is pretty fun and way more of a game, I would say.
Is it also like short? Like we've been going for an hour and a half.
This one, I would say, yeah. Considering the length at which you played this game, well, there's less putzing around to do with Adventures with Anxiety, but I wouldn't have us do it in this stream.
That's true.
Especially because I'm getting tired. I'm a sleepy little boy and I need my rest.
You poor. Any game that has a lot of dialogue, like you can bet it's gonna. You can bet if it takes the average person 10 minutes, it's gonna take me an hour, because I'm going to make comments on every other piece of text talking about something it reminded me of.
And that's why I didn't give you all 3 games at once.
You only even talked about the 2 to begin with.
Yes, I didn't want to overwhelm you, Kevin. I didn't want you to get any ideas about the stream.
When you were telling me about the game, it was before I even suggested streaming it.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't suggest we do a stream. I didn't suggest
I knew
do a
exactly
stream.
what you were planning to do. Okay? I always know.
Alright. You're silly. You're silly.
Uh-huh. That's what Kevin says when he runs out of ways to demean me.
All right, I think it's time to end this stream because I don't think I want my viewers witnessing the downfall of our communication. They're witnessing the evolution of our distrust right now. I don't think they need to see this dispute. This dispute does not need to be made public.
It's a consistent issue. It's never going to get better or worse.
That's true.
Act 8113 says night. Good night.
Good night, ACT. That's how you said you wanted your name to be pronounced, right? You said you wanted. Is that what you said? ACT 8113. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you have a good night, ACT 8113. And I hope all of you in the chat have a lovely night, because I am also going to start wrapping up and getting ready for bed. Good night, Evan. Thank you
Good night, Evan.
all for appearing.
Yeah.
You are all quite lovely people. Night,
Sleep
egg.
well, y'all.
Alright. That is it, and I hope you all have a lovely night. Bye-bye.